Or if someone says when we want to do something, if these things are not getting fulfilled, then we become angry. So these are some of the causes of anger. Someone attacking your self-esteem through some type of verbal or physical abuse. So this everyone will agree, right? If I, as you said, if I start giving some bad word, something, definitely other people is going to get angry. Something preventing you from reaching a desired goal. This is also very important. It's not necessary that there is some fight or something which needs to happen to become angry. If I am studying very hard but I am not able to achieve my desired goal, or if I am studying very hard to achieve this particular score in my subject, but I am not able to get it, so I become angry. This is one of the causes of anger. Someone violating your basic moral principles, fairness, honesty, responsibility. I'll just give you a simple example. I am standing in a queue from last 2 hours. Someone just comes in and then gets into the queue, before me. So definitely, it is hurting my, some of the principles like fairness, honesty, responsibility. I mean, why that guy came in and he got into the queue before me? This will make me angry. And when you feel helpless, do you agree with this? When you feel helpless, also sometimes you can get angry. So this is called the iceberg theory. In scientific terms, we can say everyone knows what is an iceberg. So iceberg, you can see in the sea. If you see the iceberg, only some part is visible above the sea level. Most of the part, the major portion is below the sea, which you cannot see. Only some part is visible. So here you can see there are so many emotions which are there, like you're feeling disappointed, hurt, cheated, embarrassed, feared, rejected, so many things. These are primary feelings which are not actually seen. But what comes out of this? So that's the secondary feeling, which is the anger. Everything, sab kuch mila ke, finally comes out as anger, right? So this is what this is some of the causes. So some common ways of expressing anger. I would like to ask some of you, how do you express your anger? Yeah, this is one of the way. You bang the other person. Sorry? Slap. No, sorry, I'm not able to hear. Yeah. Slang words, bad words. Yeah, so that is one way. Any other way? This is very mild. Someone was got into this mode, fighting mode directly. Breaking the phone, your own phone or the other person's phone. Okay. Yeah, so let's go. So there are, in scientific studies, very general, see, this is not a very hard and fast thing, right? These people, some of the scientists, they have done some experiments, some observations are there, and they have come up with these types of expressions of anger. So commonly it is expressed in three ways, and there's a fourth way we will try to see, which is the assertive or the positive way of anger management. So this is, first is open aggression. Use physical or verbal force to get rid of the threat to the other person. Has anyone used this till now? Directly. Open aggression. Raise hands. No, yeah. So what was your after effects of that? Yeah, you used that on other person. Yeah, so who was the winner finally? Okay, but for the other person, right? So because you were strong, you were able to manage it. But what happens if the other person is somehow is more stronger than you? If you're trying to use open aggression, it might come back on you, right? So this particular way of expressing anger is not very suitable way. Second one is suppressed anger. Ignore the angry feelings and hope that they will go away at some later point of time. So this is you have a lot of feelings of anger, but you're trying to suppress them, thinking that some of these feelings or the situation may not occur in the future or something like that. But it may not be the case. But you are not expressing it at all. Feel uncomfortable in expressing anger and don't want other people to know or notice when you are angry. Does anyone have this style? Yeah, you could please raise. So when you have suppressed anger, and when you are suppressing your anger, it is it is not that you see, first of all, you are not expressing the anger in whatever way, but then the angry feelings are not gone away at that point of time. You are just suppressing it, but it's not gone, right? So these kind of people, they can develop some um, you can say some illnesses, because like ulcers or headaches, because you are suppressing your anger, you're not letting it out in whatever way, either positive or negative way, right? So this also is not a recommended way. Third one is passive aggressive. So this is like, you don't want, in front of you I'll say, oh, you did very nicely, but then पीठ पीछे छुरा मारना. So in that way, so you're not directly confronting. People with this style of anger management choose to show their anger in indirect ways, instead of confronting the problem head on. So I can, like, I stomp my foot or I bang the door. I don't directly tell you that I'm angry, but I do some indirect ways to show that I'm angry. But even this particular type of anger expression, um, it kind of comes back to you in a negative way. So these are three types of anger styles. So we will try to see the fourth style, that is called the assertive anger management style. So before that, we'll just go through this consequences of uncontrolled anger. So everyone agrees with this. If if your anger is not controlled, there will be very bad consequences, like social isolation, withdrawal, depression, destroyed relationships. This is very, very common nowadays, right? Parents fight, and then it creates a lot of trauma, a lot of depression on the child itself. Increased job stress affects our career. So many consequences of uncontrolled anger, and this may actually lead to short-term and long-term health problems like ulcers, headaches, so many indigestion, so many other problems in our physical body, and it may also lead to some long-term health issues like cancer also. So I'm not going to show all these videos because we have very less time. So anger management, managing anger is something that is entirely within our power if you are willing to make the necessary lifestyle changes. Sometimes, most of the time, it all happens because we are trained in such a way, or we have certain habits that make us angry naturally. But it is easier, or if you practice with some lifestyle changes, then it is possible to control the anger. It doesn't matter how old you are or how long anger has been part of your life. It's never too late to manage your anger, right? Everyone agrees to this. So now we will see the fourth way of anger management, that is assertive anger management. So how to deal with a situation that makes you angry? What are the changes that should I adopt to stay cool? And how to control the anger at a root level? So with these three main topics, I'll just try to spend some time on these three topics now, because these are important, and how do we assertively manage our anger. So first thing is how to deal with situations that make you angry. So this is one way where you can note it down. So this is like a formula. It's not a hard and fast rule, but this is like a method, you can say. This method is called ACTS, ACTS. So when you are coming, or when you feel that you are coming in that anger mode or angry situation, first thing is, so these are some of the tips and tricks. First thing is, first of all, you need to be aware that you are becoming angry, right? So the first thing is to be aware of the anger signals. Normally we have these anger signals. Sometimes our face becomes red, or we try to bite our lips, our eyes become red, so many things. Sometimes we shiver. So these are some of the initial signs where we can detect that we are getting into that angry mode, right? So the first important step is to identify that we are becoming angry. Second step is control your response. Just think for a moment before reacting, before responding. Just think that what is the best possible thing for you to do at this moment, this point of time, right? Just by the spur of the moment, if you try to do something, it might cause negative effects, right? So some of the practices, like some in one of the movies also, maybe it was shown, you just count like maybe 1 to 10 before you react. So this gives us some time to control our response. Just count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, or maybe little slowly also, right? So this is control your response. Then third one is very important. Talk about the situation in a calm, polite, and assertive manner. So here, what the technique is, we are actually expressing ourselves. We are expressing that we are angry, but in a calm, polite, and assertive manner. So again, there are some techniques which are given, which is called the win way, WIN, right? So here there is an example. So it's like, when we don't have enough money to pay our bills, I feel angry. I want us to talk about how we can budget our money so that we have enough money to cover our bills. Now this person is maybe angry with his wife. She's doing too much of shopping, and then they have little funds to cover their bills. So if he talks to her in a nice and a polite way, he tells her that, okay, so this is what is the situation. I'm feeling angry about it, and I want us to sit together and talk so that we can budget our expenses in a planned way. So in this way, what you are doing is, we are communicating your expression of anger to the other person, but in a nice and polite way. You don't directly confront, right? And then the fourth one is S, is solve the problem through a mutually agreeable plan of action. So if this is possible, then you try to solve the problem in a both mutually understandable manner, so that it is a win-win situation for both of us. So this is one way. Now, some people will say that what to do when a solution is not possible at all, right? Some things are not under your control. So you can change your perception about the event and choose to drop your anger, because you're not in control of that. You cannot do anything about that situation. Better to come out from that particular position and then try to choose drop your anger at that point, or get some professional help in counseling, or withdraw or leave the situation if the situation is completely out of control, and if it is threat for your life also, then you choose better to leave from that situation. So these are some of the advantages of assertive problem solving or positive problem solving. So we deal with problem situation in an assertive manner, express anger in a polite and honest way. You confront other people without attacking them personally, and you be in a non-defensive while talking about the differences. Resolve problems in a mutually acceptable way. Do not carry grudges or bitterness. This is very important. Once you express yourself, it is not necessary that you carry grudges, because in a mutually understandable way you are trying to solve this problem. Promotes good personal health and strong relationships. So I'm just trying to go a little fast now. So there are many scientific studies which have demonstrated that if you change a little bit of your lifestyle, of your health habits, your exercising, or some of your lifestyle patterns, then it helps to control your anger in a much better fashion. So we'll just try to see what are those. First is this SAFE method, SAFE. So these are the physiological changes which you need to adopt. You can just go through this. First is sufficient sleep or rest. If I'm not able to sleep properly, if I don't have sufficient rest, next day I'm very restless, right? I don't know what I am speaking, or normally I'm a little bit unstable, and then that is the time I can get angry and then do some things which are not right for yourself. Avoid substances. This is very important. Substances like alcohol, drugs, cigarette smoking, all these things are not at all good. So you should be very careful that you avoid these things, because when you suppose consume some alcoholic drinks, most of the time you are not in control of yourself. You don't know what you are doing, right? And then your reactions, whatever you do, you don't know what you have done at that point of time, and then finally maybe you repent after that. The food that we consume, you have to have very nutritious food, right? And if you do some daily exercises, yoga practices, all these things constitute a good lifestyle. So especially this food habits, right? To have this nutritious food is very, very important. Fruits, vegetables. Usually the studies have shown that people who eat non-vegetarian food, right? They are they are more prone to have more anger, right? So this non-vegetarian food or in the food in the mode of ignorance, whatever you take, that is having a very huge impact on our anger styles. So we saw about the physical changes, then mental and behavioral changes. So you accept some responsibility. So this is awake. So this was a workshop, right? So this is what you can just note it down, take some tips, and then you try to follow in your life as much as possible. So these are some of the keywords you can use. So accept responsibilities, willing to be humorous. Willingness to be humorous is also a very important aspect. When you're in a situation which tends to make you angry, sometimes this feeling of humor acts like a soothing balm. It is very, very important, right? So this is very important. Avoid irrational thoughts. Don't think negatively. What is going to happen? अरे ऐसा हुआ तो क्या होगा ये होगा. Kindness and politeness. So these are some of the qualities which you need to develop. So these are forgiveness, kindness, politeness, all these things, and then empathize. So these are some of the qualities which the studies have shown that if you are able to incorporate these in your lifestyle, then you can manage your anger in a little bit better fashion. So now let us come to a little different perspective. How do you control the anger at root level? So all these things we have studied. I have spoken all these things. But do you think that with all these physical changes, physiological changes, mental changes, are you able to completely control the anger? Suppose if I follow these steps, can I control the anger? It's very difficult, right? So this is not like a rule book that okay, if you follow this, you are able to control. So it depends on the personality, it depends on your background, all these things are there. But then from our scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, we can at least try to understand what is the root cause of anger. What are the things which actually cause the anger in the first place? And if there is some point from that, we can just try to control ourselves that we don't reach to that anger level. So let us see a glimpse of deeper insights from the Vedas. So the cause and the consequences of anger. So this is a very nice shloka. Actually, two shlokas given in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 2.62 and 2.63. It says, Dhyato Vishayan Pumsa Sangas Teshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate. While contemplating on the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. So this is one of the causes of anger. It gives from lust, anger arises, right? And what are the causes of lust? Also, it has given. Krodhat bhavati sammohat smriti vibrahava, smriti brahmshat buddhi nashat pranashati. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So this is a very strong point, right? If you are able to control your lust, anger at that particular point itself, you are saved from all these other things. Complete delusion, then bewilderment of memory and all this. So this is nicely explained in this particular flow, you can say. So it says contemplating on the objects of senses. We all know, right? We have these sense objects: sound, touch, form, taste, smell. We all want to eat nice rasgulla, see good forms, or listen to good music, eat good food. Everything is there. But then, when we want when we are desiring something, we try to contemplate. We think on those in those lines, and from when we try to contemplate, and we try to think about it for too much time, then we develop attachment to it. And when this attachment, it is transformed into this lust. When the lust, if it is unfulfilled, then the anger arises. So this is the cause of anger. If the lust is unfulfilled, then anger arises. And when there is anger, then there is complete delusion, then bewilderment of memory, and then intelligence is lost. And when you have no intelligence, everyone knows what can happen, right? So it is very important to see at this point that how we can control this anger at this particular point of attachment itself. So if we are able to understand that, okay, now I'm getting into this mode where I'm getting too much attached to this particular sense object, then if at that point if I can curb or withdraw my senses from that point itself, then I will not reach to the next stage, isn't it? And that is where our Vedanta says that you can control the lust and anger. So wisdom from Vedic scriptures about anger management. So yeah, so these are some of the other things which our scriptures say. Eating sattvic diet, food in the mode of goodness. So you can just go through this slide. I'm not going to go in detail, but this is very important. What kind of food we eat also has a very immense effect on our behavior and I mean in terms of anger. So grains, legumes, vegetables, fresh dried fruits, nuts, seeds, so all these spices. So these are some of the things which are given, and especially in the Vedanta philosophy, it is prescribed that you whatever things you can prepare nicely, you can offer it to the Lord and then partake it as prasadam. That is the best food you can have, which will improve the even your consciousness levels. So you can also follow some of the spiritual practices like prayers and meditation. So this is one of the very important uh, slides you can say. So this is a research from an American and Dutch scientist, right, Brad Bushman. So he shows how praying can help ease anger, low aggression, lessen the impact of provocation. So this is one of the study. What he's mentioning is we found that the prayer can really help people cope with their anger, probably by helping them change how they view the events that angered them and helping them take it less personally. So this is a complete change in your view, right? If you are a little bit spiritual person, if you have practices like prayers, meditation, if you try to develop some qualities like compassion, forgiveness, all these things, then you completely change your perspective of anger. So I just mentioned this, build qualities like humility, compassion, forgiveness, gratitude, regular reading of holy scriptures and applications in daily life, and good association. If you associate with good people, saintly people, like-minded people, then it is very less likely that you uh, become angry. So in conclusion, these are just four things which I have. It's not bad to have feelings of anger. It is completely all right. Some people think that it is a bad thing that I'm becoming angry, but it's not bad to have anger. Only thing is it can be controlled. Managing anger is very important in life. Assertive problem solving is one of the ways of anger management. So this is a positive way to in anger management, and anger can be eliminated at the very root level by spiritual practices. So as just discussed. Right? So thank you very much. So now I request Mr. Mohan to enlighten us about the stress management. You can take this. Already. I just wanted to say that. Oh, take it.
So, good evening, one and all. Welcome you for this session of stress management. So, before starting, I just wanted to put a question on you guys. How many of you felt stressed? So most of them felt stressed. Okay. So today we'll kind of understand what is stress and what is its management. Stress management. Oh. This one. This. Okay. So the 18th and the 19th century are kind of usually associated with a period of intense industrial and scientific progress, which really changed the way we live. The standard and comforts of living really changed. There were many areas in which we do experience the change and the comfort the way we live. For example, the medical field or communication, transportation. But the last 2 decades at least, we have seen rapid changes in the way we commute and communicate. In good old days, it used to take maybe a couple of months or few weeks at least to travel from one place to another. But these days, it usually takes few hours or at least couple of days to travel from one city or another city or one continent to another continent itself. Similarly, we have a quicker and faster mode of communication also, like the new way of communication, the internet, VoIP, and the new way of communication like the messaging services. Even though the technology has helped the human being with all this facility, we do kind of experience some kind of disturbances or pressures in a day-to-day basis. Sometimes we are concerned about our livelihood itself. Sometimes we are concerned about our expectation on ourselves, others' expectation on us. Sometimes we get irritated and anger. Most of us raise our hands. We feel anger. So from a kind of peaceful way of living, right? From a peaceful way of living, we landed up in a kind of tensionful of living with lot of pressure and disturbances in a day-to-day basis. It eventually results in what is called stress. Let me try to play this video. So these are the few of the technologies that really change the way we live. we saw a wonderful video with a lot of loud sound. So we do see that's a technology, right? From a laptop, we got from the video speaker and it's going to our ears. So that's a technology. So in a race of kind of a comfort way of living and in search of happiness, right? So we have landed up into a kind of more social and personal chaos. So great seers or saints have kind of concluded that synthesis of science and spirituality is very much essential for a sublime way and a peaceful way of living for all living beings. And one such saint is our Dr. T.D. Singh. I offer my humble obeisances unto him. Dr. T.D. Singh finished his PhD in 1974 in the University of California at Irvine in physical organic chemistry. He's not just a scientist, he's a saint and a scientist. He's well known for his pioneering efforts in synthesis of science and religion for a better understanding of life and the universe. So in this session, we'll discuss what is stress, how do we get it, how do we come out of it. So now, can you help me to how do you define stress? What is stress? Any guesses, please? Yes, thanks, exactly. Any other guesses? Yeah. Can you be louder? Yeah, right. Okay, sure, right. Uneasiness, right. But that's a kind of symptom. Change of normal physiology, right. But all this, but what, how do you define it? How do you say something? What is stress? Any other guesses? Not able to cope up. Yeah. Okay. Stress is something like it's a body's physical and emotional response. It's a body's physical and emotional response to circumstance or events or something like which excites us or which puts in danger, which frustrates us, and in turn place demand on the body. So when I say it's a body's response, I mean it's a common thing, right? So it's a body's common response to certain events or circumstances. But now the question I get, why do you want to manage stress then? If it's a normal thing, why do you want to manage stress? So I'll go to another thing. We say, I think we have heard of this. Too much of anything is good for nothing. I hope you all guys agree with that. So here, I just wanted to share the effect of stress on performance. Robert Elks and John Billingham Dodson came up with this. It says that the performance of an individual on any task varies with a predictable parabolic curve until a certain point. Beyond that point, the performance decreases. Okay, so the graph is between the performance and stress. So, but here it states that it uses a word something like arousal, which is inner motivating tension, and which can be treated also as stress. But the initial kind of experiment was done on rats in a maze. So there was one right part and wrong part gave some kind of electric shock. So with increase of voltage, the rats kind of was learning, the learning increased, but beyond certain voltage, it started freezing, it had started slowing down, and it even forgot which is the right and the wrong path. So here I just listed out few of the physical effects of stress. It's usually linked with all this: cancer, diabetics, breakdown in the immune system, alcohol and substance abuse, cardiovascular diseases, and this is another important point: 75 to 90% of all doctor visits are stress or of stress-related elements and disorders. So another question for you guys: what are the signs of stress? I think a couple of them already told. More guesses? What are the signs of stress? Uneasiness. Sorry? Sleeplessness. Morose. Any other guesses? Anger. Depression. Sorry? Frustration. Agitation. Okay. Irritation. So when the individual is under stress, right, there is some kind of changes on his body, on his thinking and thought process. So first I'll just, so it affects on the 4 different levels. First on the body level, the mind level, emotion level and the behavior level. It affects the human being on all 4 different levels. If you come to the body level, the usually seen effect, the heart, headaches, emotions, irritability, apprehension, depression, and the mind level, negativity, most commonly seen, impaired judgment, and the behavior, sleeplessness, restlessness, alcohol consumption, smoking. So another question to you guys again. What do you think is the cause of stress? Yeah, life changes, right? Yeah, that's again the life changes. Financial issues, traffic. Sorry? Huh? Comparison. I didn't get. Comparison. Others. Sorry? Pushing. Yeah. Hmm? Job pressure. So you have listed many things right now. Okay. So here I list few of them, the categories. Commonly seen things: living situation, relationship issues, environment, traffic jams, financial and family, work, health and illness, and school or education, school, college or education. The symptoms of stress are usually termed as stresses. Okay, so these are the few unhealthy ways that we usually tend to cope up with, like overeating or undereating, withdrawing from friends, family, and activities, sleeping too much, emotional, physical, or violent outbursts, and procrastinating. These are the few of them. But this really does not help the individual, it affects the individual. So now will come, how do we kind of manage the stress? The stress, I mean, we do experience some level of stress in most of the places, whether it's at home or it's at college or school or whether it's at work. So managing stress is become an essential part of our life. So managing stress is nothing but taking charge or taking control of your emotions or about your thought process and the way you deal with the problem. So this TARP method, right, TARP, is one of the most efficient way to deal with stress and to overcome the side effect of stress. T is tune in, A is analyze, R is respond, P is prevent. Tune in meaning we need to identify the early signs of stress, and A analyze is kind of identify or find the root cause of the stress, and respond is how do we respond to the stress at that particular point of time. Prevent is kind of the develop and kind of activities or habits with which you can manage the stress and tackle the stress. Tune in is one of the first and important step. Unless and until you identify the symptoms of stress, it's difficult to get rid of the side effects of stress or the effects of stress. Otherwise, if it goes unnotified, the effect of stress gets worsened as time goes on. So tune in is a very important step. For example, it's easy to forget or oversee kind of headache or stomach upset, but whenever we come across some kind of situation of these things, we have to scan ourselves for the symptoms of stress. Maybe from the body level, for example, from the head, starting from the head, they have a headache, or yes, I'm breathing faster, rapid breathing, or rapid heartbeat, or I'm sweating. So these are a few things on the body level, and after the body level and the behavior level, we think. I think we heard some of you guys told sleeping too much or sleeping too less, watching too much of TV, or getting away from friends and family circle. These are some of them. And on the emotional level, are you feeling frustrated, irritated, right? On a psychological or the mental level, are you feeling kind of, or you're not able to decide, or you're doing hasty decisions, or you don't have a proper memory, or you are not able to recall few things. So once you kind of able to understand or identify the stress, you are ready to go to the next step. The next step is kind of finding out the root cause of the stress. So the stresses are of two kinds, external and internal. External environment, traffic jams, or it can be bright light or a working condition or a dim light. So external meaning which is coming outside of the body and which is affecting you and which is threatening you. So all these four categories, it's whether environment, organization, work pressure, peer pressure, and job dissatisfaction, or the relationship within the team or with the manager, and major life events, like let it be marriage or kid, even a divorce, loss of a near and a dear ones, and illness. All these things come to this category. And daily results, again commuting, and for example misplacing or losing things, jobs dissatisfaction, and daily tasks, the pressure of daily tasks, and internal negative self-talk, pessimistic thinking. This is a quite often seen thing. Mind traps, like you're not able to accept the reality, or you're not kind of ready to face the situation. Lifestyle, you're not able to get proper sleep, or you're not giving proper rest to the body. All these things come to this category. Let me complete, then we can take the questions. So respond. Respond is nothing but calming yourself, calming your mind. So here we are just discussing four of them: walk away, know the limits, say no, delegate. Walk away meaning walk away meaning you can, if there is a situation or a conversation which is creating some kind of disturbances or not able to cope up with it or you're feeling stressed out, it's better that we walk out that particular situation. Or from you can have a which is something which is positive, you can replace with positive thoughts. You can read something which gives some positive feelings. And know the limits. This is very important. You should know how much you can handle, whether it's a personal life or the professional life. You should know your limits. And main importantly, after knowing it, you have to stick with it. You can't take more in your hands than you can handle it. That's very important. In case if there are more things, what you should say no. I think we did come across in the time management slides. So you need to learn to say no when you have to say no. That is very much important. Whether it's a personal life or it's a professional life, this is very important, saying no. But in case you are in a situation that you have to handle those situations, those kind of tasks or whatever it is, it's better always to delegate it. Have some person to authorize to take care of that particular task. But it's kind of, if knowing all these things, it's if you take all those things, you are sure to be stressed. Prevent. So prevention is kind of step where you need to kind of learn, kind of cultivate kind of habits and see how do you manage day-to-day stress. Relaxation, regular exercise, and maintaining a disciplined life, eating right, avoid harmful substances. So relaxation. So relaxation is a way where you can calm down yourself and make sure that the effect of stress does not affect you. So whatever way you choose, the best is you can judge yourself what is the best way you can calm down yourself, whether it's hearing music or getting together with friends, family, or getting a long walk, reading something which is inspiring, etc. and etc. So it depends on the individual what's the best way that he can use to calm himself. And exercise. Exercise is one of the best way that you can use for stress proofing yourself. You can allocate some 15 to 30 minutes of your time to do daily exercises. It might be yoga or jogging or walking or aerobics or whatever you feel comfortable. But it's required to have some time, allocate some time to do the daily exercise activity. Eating. So again, I think we do until and unless your body supports it, it's difficult for you to withstand stress. So you need to know how do you deal with your body also. So you need to feed your body with 3 good meals a day, and in case, what I mean 3 good meals a day is with vegetables and lot of fruits and vegetables. And in case if you feel hungry between meals, it's better we take some kind of juice or something and avoid the junk foods. And avoid harmful substances. This is very kind of important thing. I think this is again repeated thing, but it tells how much important is this thing is about. How do we practice it? Because what happens is when a person is stressed out, it's usually a tendency of human being to go for other things to get stressed out. And these things are easily available. Doing exercise is difficult. Getting up early in the morning is difficult. But these things are easily available. But this thing does not help you to get rid of stress. But other way around, if you see, you might feel that when you use these substances, you might feel stressed out. But the problem is when the effect of this wears out, you feel the effect of this or this thing rebounds. The effect, if the what you are feeling effect earlier, it will be even more. So there are many ways to manage stress, but unless until you have a solid connection with the spiritual path, it's all other kind of ways it just becomes a surface fixes. So there are many ways that we can manage the spiritual way. When we talk about prayers, meditation, regular life, simple living, practice non-violence, humility, tolerance, and be grateful. But I'll just talk about 2 points. Prayers. Prayers is an integral part of any religion. If you go to any religion, if you go to Islam or Sikh, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, but prayers is an integral part of any religion. So there are many researches that's going on which tells the effect of stress on the people who do or who practice prayers and meditations. Here I've listed a few of them. Prayer gives people more self-control and helps them keep their emotion in check, according to the new German study. The latest study found that praying helps people maintain self-control when they are stressed. A brief period of personal prayer buffered the self-control deflection effect. And this is few of the research studies on meditation. Much research has shown that during mantra meditation, body and mind typically enter a state of profound rest. Oxygen consumption can be lowered during 20 to 30 minutes of meditation to a degree ordinarily reached only after 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Heart and respiration rates typically decrease during meditation. So this is another chart which tells that what's the difference between just eye closed rest and the meditation. How does it affect? So this says that the plasma cortisol is a stress hormone. The study shows that the plasma cortisol decreased during transcendental meditation, whereas it did not change significantly in control subjects during ordinary relaxation. So this is a kind of chart which shows the difference between ordinary relaxation and meditation. But other way around, if you see the prayers and the effect of prayers or meditation does not end immediately after you finish those activity, but it's carried out the entire day. So here are a few of the examples I just wanted to quote. I think we all know who is Parikshit's grandson of Arjuna. He was cursed to death. He was cursed to death in 7 days. But he never panicked or tried to take revenge or safeguard with his wealth, relatives, or grief or untimely death. He remains peaceful by constantly listening to Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. Examples from Vedic literature. King Prahlad, we all know about this. He was constantly tormented to death in various ways. He remained undisturbed, did not develop any kind of hatred towards anyone, and remained peaceful by remaining the Supreme Lord constantly. So with this, I just wanted to conclude. In this world, everyone is under stress. This is due to the negative influence of the prevailing atmosphere on our mind and as well as our lifestyle, right? So we need to change our lifestyle so that we are influenced in positive ways. How do we do it? Can be done by regulating our daily routines, interacting with people, inculcating positive, good attitude, nature, taking to spiritual activities, and most importantly, prayers. It is important to inculcate some of this from early childhood for betterment of future generations. An education system founded in the science spirituality paradigm would go a long way in solving one's day-to-day problems and finally leading one to the highest goal of life. With this, I conclude my sharing about stress and its management, stress management. Thank you very much. And I think this ends our 15th session of workshop, and this is my, I think this is the last talk of a 3 days long talk. And I hope you guys did get some kind of information that helps you to go ahead for a better way of life for yourself, for your family and friends also. And I think there are many takeaways. I think each and every individual has some takeaway and which can help you all guys. Thank you very much. So any questions from all these 3 sessions? Time management, anger management, and stress management? Yeah, sure. So in the first place, the manager knows that how much stress you are in, but he puts an additional kind of pressure, right?
Yeah.
There you have the rights, being your normal, we are being a normal human being,
Okay.
we have our limits.
Yeah.
So we have the right to tell the manager, these things can be done after this thing, and this thing. Suppose you are stressed out and you want a break, you have the right to ask a break. But in
waste of time if you will be taking 3 hours to do the same task. So there, the student has to think out of box how I can do the same task with the stipulated time. There, you have to that what sir has told that you depend on a unforeseen factor, like suppose you keep faith on God or like that, and don't feel that I am enough stressed to do the task. Don't feel like that, and depend on that. And after your performance is coming, you won't be rejected. Suppose somebody has achieved 90%, 70%, doesn't matter to us, but don't feel stressed. Take it and perform your and show your performance level.
Right, sir, I agree with that, but the parabolic curve I showed you, right? So it depends upon what point of stress is managing. I understand whatever, I agree with that, but it depends on the individual also. It's a subjective matter. But other way around, what I can say is, instead of working hard, work smart. That's more important. Thank you. Any other questions?
Sir, is it practically in practical day-to-day life, is it possible or to get victory over the time?
Ah, that's a difficult question to answer. Victory all the time.
So my question is for Prabhakar sir.
Uh, Sorry, I could not get your question fully. It's not audible here, man.
Is it practical in day-to-day life? Is it
Ah.
possible to get victory over the time?
Victory over time. As I told you, time management is a subject which deals with how to manage yourself given 24 hours.
Oh,
So what do you mean by victory over time? When you say I am victorious?
that means to complete all the things in time, very punctual. Is it, sir, practically possible?
Yes. If you practice, then you can reach perfection.
So far, Vidura in Mahabharata told that Kalo Pachati Bhutani,
Hmm.
Kalo Samharate Praja,
Yeah.
Kala Suptasya Jagrate, Kalo Hi Durati Kramam. That
Yeah.
time cannot be surpassed. That means Kala matlab time. That means time. Time is everything, and time cannot be defeated. That we can't get victory over the time.
That's what I am saying. Like you can manage yourself given time. That's what I told first. Maybe you can mold yourself by following certain practices. You can make best use of time. If you call that perfecting yourself to do everything properly in the human life, I can say that is a great success. But if you are talking victory means controlling the time, I also told you it's not possible because time is not under your control. Yes. Is that it?
It should not be. I don't understand.
Revenge.
Ah.
Yeah. So what is question?
So in our material world, is it possible practically?
Yeah. If you can practice spirituality and develop the quality of compassion towards others, and if you can somehow compassionately forgive him, the forgiveness is other quality. Compassionately, if you can forgive, yes, you can come out of this. This is what not I am saying, it is from Bhagavatam, what Prahlad told. If you can be compassionate towards others, thinking they are also connected to God, they are part and parcel of God, if you can forgive them, then you also make great progress. You are giving opportunity for other person also to make progress in his journey instead of taking revenge. Anyway, the speaker is here if you want to add anything.
So I also mentioned about some of the spiritual practices. So if you inculcate some of the spiritual practices, like reading the scriptures and understanding the higher picture or the bigger picture, then slowly by practice you can definitely develop these qualities. Which these are all spiritual qualities like compassion, forgiveness, kindness. So with this, yeah, definitely it is given in the scriptures that slowly all these anarthas, they are called as anarthas, unwanted things, can go away. But it requires dedication, sincerity, and practice. So that is one of the teachings to us, right? So we cannot compare the activities of the Lord and then normal our activities. So
Uh,
suppose if we have feelings like enviousness, jealousy, then we tend to be little revengeful, right? But if you don't have these feelings, then why you will feel the necessity to be angry or take revenge, isn't it?
Compared to mother and father chastising the children. So we cannot compare those things with the material things, the way we show anger and take revenge. We are all influenced by modes of material nature. So there is a huge gap. So given that it's a spiritual matter you are discussing, I thought of clearing of certain things. Yeah.
Okay, so one question, because we have good presentation from space, time, and anger management. But what the scripture says, everything is controlled by me. See, the Lord said, even a grass cannot move without my order.
Without me, he has to sanction.
Yeah. So, what is the management time goes? If everything controlled by God, then what is our role to control that?
We are not, as I told you again and again, we are not saying we have to control. We are saying we have to manage. Anger, you manage. Time, you manage. Stress, you manage. Though Supreme Lord is telling everything happens by His sanction, He is the sanctioning authority as Paramatma, but still you have got a freedom, right? As spirit soul, if you have not got freedom, then we are not called as spirit soul. We can call ourselves as a robot, right? So the freedom, the free will is given to the living entity. That's what scriptures also telling. So you can judge what is right and what is wrong. And Supreme Lord is not fully controlling us. So there is independence that is given and that is there within us. Using that independence, we have to manage ourselves in a proper way. Otherwise, if you can get under the influence of anger or anything for that matter, kama, krodha, lobha, anything for that matter, we may be lost in our journey. So without misusing our independence, use the independence in the right direction by learning some techniques such that we don't commit mistakes and get sinful reaction for that, but whereas go in the right path to achieve God. That is the idea.
Somebody on that pretext they says, whatever you are managing, so that is already managed by some Lord.
People say many things,
Yeah,
but
many things.
what I know, I am telling, what is our philosophy, the Vaishnava philosophy, like our other acharyas, whatever they told, is that we have got independence, we have to use in the right direction.
Because also it says we are acting under the three modes of nature. Okay, Sattva Guna, Rajo, and Tamo Guna. So we are bound by this. He says in the Gita also, you are forced to do that. If you are in Satogun, you can never commit like other bad things. If you are in Rajogun, even if you cannot do much helping other things also. If you are in Tamogun, so you do all these negative things. So
Whatever may be the guna, scripture gives. That's why the activities for all the three modes of people to progress further in the spiritual journey. Otherwise, we will never come out of this cycle. Coming to your point, if there is no way to progress further in our spiritual journey, if everything material nature is acting and everything material nature is doing, then the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, like I told, if Krishna is telling my Maya is difficult, there is no way, then yes, I am helpless. But he is telling, Mameva ye prapadyante, Maya metam tarantite. He is telling the answer also he is giving. If you can surrender, if you can do devotional path, it is easy to overcome also. The solution also is given. That means for each and every paper, Tamoguna, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, there are certain activities prescribed in the Vedic literature. If we can do those activities using our little independence, that is the way we can, I think, progress in our spiritual journey.
thank you. There's one more question.
thank to all speakers and Professor Sudhito Ghosh. And I want to say that meditation is the main thing which can control the all things, anger, time management, and stress management. As you say, Mahatma Gandhi just he wants to get rid of sleep. He just at 3 p.m. he get rid of sleep. And uh, I also know that Lord Krishna and Hanuman, he wants what he want to do. So I think that in spirituality, meditation is the main thing, and students should do that because I have an experience that at the time of Naxal movement, I went to go to Guru, but my friends are arrested. This is my uh, common experience. Thank you all.
So I think so we can stop here now. If there are any questions, we are available. So you can ask us offline also.
Thank you.
So there is a small announcement. Bhaktivedanta Institute is also conducting a winter school because we are almost coming to concluding phase. So this is in December from 25th to 27th in a place called Melkotai. This is around 150 kilometers from Bangalore. It's a very great, really spiritually elevated place. And we have got Yoga Narsimha and also Chelu Narayana. And Ramanujacharya spent almost 12 years. So it's a spiritually also very vibrant place. And this is the place we have chosen. And there are many course topics: mathematics and spirituality, life and origin, evolution and consciousness, cosmology, and also science of Bhagavad Gita. These are the topics we'll be discussing. And the program is given, and the pilgrimage is there every day, all 3 days. We will take from afternoon, like to one place near Melkotai. So any students or professionals who are interested, they can register. The fee structure also is given. Otherwise, you can contact us. Okay. Thank you very much. The notebook is placed near bookstall, so you can write your name, mobile number to contact if you are interested. That is also possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, speakers. I'm sure this session would have helped us improve the way of life by better management. Now I request His Holiness Krishnamangal Swami to present the mementos to speakers. Shri P. Prabhakar, Sameer Varlekar, Mr. Mohan Kumar, thank you, Swamiji. I now invite Shri Varun Agarwal for the valedictory speech.
नमो पंकज नेत्राय नमो पंकज मालिने नमो पंकज नाभाय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहम् नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहम् नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहम् ओम शांति शांति शांति। So you have witnessed last 3 days a spectrum of areas on science and spirituality in different sessions, in different speakers. This field of bringing together the science and spirituality, not just in a superficial level, in a deep level in different disciplines of sciences. So I hope you could relish it, absorb it, and will try to take forward some of the thoughts which you must have gathered over the last 3 days. So in this session, what we intend to do, firstly we will have a small summary from last 3 days by Professor Sudipto Ghosh, the secretary of the conference.